Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be playing a couple more standard matches with one of the companions. I believe we've got 6 left at this point. Full disclosure, I recorded an entire video with Kahira, but the footage was messed up. I'm well aware that sometimes the footage comes out really choppy in certain parts. If anybody can help kind of give me some OBS advice on how to fix that, that'd be great. But for the most part, everything came out fine, but the Kahira one was really bad. I just didn't post it, so we're gonna go ahead and try that one again. We put it back on the wheel, but let's go ahead and spin our wheel and see which of these companions remaining that we are gonna play with today. It might just be Kahira again. Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's gonna be Yorion, the big boogeyman of Standard. It's funny, the companion boogeyman of Standard keeps changing, but I think people have fallen on Yorion being the consensus best. Yorion's the one where you have to pay more than 20 cards, so it's got a really cool deck building restriction to it, but the value you get off of it is kind of insane sometimes. Now, the deck I'm playing is not necessarily like a tuned Yorion list because I find those extremely boring. You play against them non-stop if you play Standard at all. But what I did was I took a Jeskai Draw 2 deck that I was already playing before Ikoria came out, and I kind of shoehorned Yorion in by putting in a couple more cards to meet the theme. But originally the deck was based around Ironcrag Pyromancer, Improbable Alliance, Fairy Vandal, a bunch of ways to draw cards, a couple cards hedged for best of one, like Elite Guard Mage, and then of course your general like Jeskai interaction type cards. Flame Sweeps I added in when it became an 80 card deck, but you're trying to stick something and then just make sure you have a steady stream of cards going. A couple new cards were like Fire Prophecy, Boon of the Wishgiver, Shark Typhoon were all nice ways. Dream Trawler's just in here as like an 80th card that's just good when you get to cast it. And you can kind of look through the deck and see that it's a lot of 1-ofs, 2-ofs, stuff like that. But for the most part, the 4-of cards are the draw 2 action cards, which I will admit is not necessarily the most competitive way to bring this deck, but I have found it to be fine. And Yorion a lot of times is just like a giant air elemental, but every now and then you get to blink an Omen of the Sea, or you get to blink a Elite Guard Mage, reset a Planeswalker, stuff like that. So we're not playing cards like Elspeth Conquers Death. White is one of the smaller requirements in this deck, so I didn't want too many white cards. And again, I don't want to just play like the most competitive deck out there. It's not particularly fun for me to do that, so I kind of brewed this one up my own. So no shout out to anybody because this is my own deck here, but we're going to go ahead and play some Yorion matches. They tend to go pretty long, but this deck has some pretty nice draws and a lot of interaction. Hopefully we get to showcase what I was going for with this deck. And yeah, if you like this sort of content, feel free to subscribe below. We've still got half the companions left after this. We'll play about 4 or 5 matches today. Make sure you find us on Twitter at MTG_ManaRocks. And let's go ahead and jump into some matches. I'll see you all in match number 1. Alright, welcome for match number 1, y'all. We've got a pretty sketch hand because this Aluris deck could be just an aggro deck. It could be a Cyclone deck, in which case our hand's not like great. We really want the Flame Sweeps, but we are an 80 card deck, so mulliganing towards certain cards is not really super efficient. We have an opt, we have a little bit of interaction here as well, so I'm going to keep this and we'll see if we get cycled out here. Seems to be the hotness of the day is the red-white Cyclone deck that just happens to have a Aluris. Opponent's going to take a mulligan. And looks like we're just against a normal kind of Aristocrats aggro deck here. Bone Crusher's a good draw. So with this deck, I don't tend to like to spew off opts at the first possible moment. Maybe I should put that on the bottom. The reason being is because opt is just very good with a lot of your other cards. So you would prefer to save opt for a turn where you can go like Ironcrag Pyromancer plus opt. Does my opponent have another 1-drop? They don't. So they're off to a pretty slow start, which is going to give me time to deploy my Improbable Alliance. We will need to hit a bunch of lands here, obviously. If we can stick Dream Trawler on time against this opponent, we should be pretty good. Or if we can find a Flame Sweep, we'll have a pretty good time. But our opponent didn't have a 2-drop, which is nice for us. Probably means on turn 3 they'll have multiple 1-drops or things like that. They can start Whisper Squad in the board. But Improbable Alliance has pretty good matchup against this sort of stuff because the fairies can often trade for their creatures. Let's see what they got. Dreadhorde Butcher. Alright, well, we're probably just going to Bone Crusher that right away. Take a decent amount of damage here. Take, what, 3 plus another 2 off of this death trigger. and just get some tap lands into play. I could also opt, because I am actually looking for like flame sweeps and stuff like that, but we're for sure going to Bone Crusher Giant this thing. Actually, maybe I just want to Brazen Borrower it, have my opponent replay it. No, that seems bad. Do need to find something here for this to be an interactive match, because just killing this isn't all good long-term playing against Loris. Question is, I probably just want to get the shock in shocked, and then take my beats. I guess I could have opted there and made a fairy. Yeah, that was probably bad. I probably should have just played Untapped Mountain and opted. But since we already crushed the bones, we're going to go ahead and just do that. Just casting a Bone Crusher Giant's got to be fine here too. Croaks is okay. I'm not too worried about that. Discard Dream. No, I'll discard Dovin's Veto. I'm not going to be holding up mana for Dovin's Veto this game. The only thing it really counters that I can think of is like Witch's Oven anyway. And Croaks seems like it could be bad if it gets online here, but we've got some time. Opponent's down to 1 card. They're going to start Whisper Squatting for sure. I am going to opt this time just to get a fairy into play. Have an additional blocker to trade off with a Whisper Squad. Fabled Passage gets another white source, so that's probably good enough. And then we can stick a Dream Trawler 2 turns from now. We'll go ahead and do this now. Get a white source, play Bone Crusher Giant, just have some blockers, and hope that we can get Dream Trawler rolling before our opponent gets their stuff rolling. Because with another land, our opponent can play Loris. They can start doing the Loris Croxa thing, which is really good too. Alright, activate Whisper Squad. Could also play Yorion next turn just as a thing to put on board. I'm not sure Brazen Borrower is going to do too much here. So let's see if they have another land. They didn't, did they? Oh yeah, they activated Whisper Squad. I was like, did they not activate Whisper Squad? Do you have a Myers Grasp or something like that to kill Bone Crusher Giant? That'd probably be fine. I just don't want them to go land, Loris, Croxa, and then Croxa us every turn of the game. Oh, they do have a Myers Grasp. Okay. Not too bad. I'll go ahead and trade off my fairy for a Whisper Squad if they give me the choice. I mean, I'll trade it for a cat too. So we'll put another card in the graveyard. Yeah, probably best to just put a Whisper Squad, not a cat. I guess maybe put the cat in the graveyard so that if they want to go for Croxa or something, they have to exile the cat, but that's not even necessarily true. So here, I actually might just make a 2/2 Shark so I can play a tapped land and not take any extra damage. And then I'll get a 2/2, I'll get a 1/1, and I'll have an extra card in my hand. That seems fine. Like a 2/2 is just as good as a 3/3 on this board. They both trade with Loris. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we'll cycle first. Might hit a shock or something, change my mind. So again, we need to stick Dream Trawler. Teferi's fine. We need to stick Dream Trawler. We need to get to a point where we can start attacking with it pretty regularly. And we need to not be under Croxa lockdown here. But we'll see what happens. If our opponent plays Loris Croxa, what are we discarding? They can also just trade and cast Croxa straight up. Claim the Firstborn. Nice. So I think that's actually probably fine. I could prevent 2 damage. I could trade with a squad, and then they play Loris plus 1 drop. I could also just take this, but then they still go Loris plus 1 drop, right? Because they have a Whisper Squad. So I'll make the trade and just prevent damage. I guess I take 4 that way. This isn't great for me regardless of what happens, but I do feel like we're going to be in pretty good shape here. With the Dream Trawler, I've just got to be able to beat the Croxa. Opponent did not play Loris. They didn't expose it. It's pretty good restraint. We're going to go Dream Trawler, and I mean, I can probably attack for 2 here, right? Opponent's going to squat up. This is their last Whisper Squad. Okay, so it's going to be basically Dream Trawler versus Kroxa. And I think I'm okay with that matchup. I'm going to pass here. So they just escape Kroxa. I can bounce it once. I'm going to have to discard a card. I probably discard Brazen Borrower so that I can just play Teferi, bounce Kroxa, and of course I get to replay Kroxa again. But I do gain some life back on this Dream Trawler every time when Dream Trawler attacks, I get to do the Improbable Alliance thing, so I'll have blockers. So I think we're looking fine. Can also Yorion to just blink a Dream Trawler, have it come back in untapped. The nasty part, of course, is that I'm at 6 life. And I don't really want to discard this land to Kroxa, otherwise I'm going to take 3 damage. So I will discard Brazen Borrower. Alright, opponent's escaping. I still would love to draw a Flame Sweep because my opponent's late game plan is going to be to play Loris and keep casting Kroxa every turn, I think. They left Mire's Grasp in the graveyard. So they'd rather have Mire's Grasp in the graveyard than a creature that they can play here. Alright, Kroxa, I think I do want to discard Brazen Borrower and just not take damage. And then we can Teferi bounce it, and of course they can replay it once. But they don't really get to attack me here. Unless they want me to gain extra life. Okay, Improbable Alliance, pretty good. So we're going to play Teferi first so that we know everything else isn't going to be interacted with. And then we're going to play Improbable Alliance. And we'll Teferi the Kroxa. Alright, so we are going to lose 3. Well, not... Oh, opponent scoops. Okay. I was going to say, we're going to lose 3, but we do get to draw a card when Dream Trawler attacks. Alright, well, we didn't get to Yorion anything, but that's how it is against those decks. Is you're immediately under pressure, you have to play defense and find some sort of stabilize and play, and Dream Trawler tends to be a very good stabilize and play against the aggro decks. I'll take my first win with my Yorion deck. Feels sweet. We were, quote-unquote, about to go off with Improbable Alliance, so we kind of got to do that part of it, but Yorion was just there as an option, right? Yorion reset in Teferi is really good, and then you bounce it with you bounce Yorion with Teferi, and then you keep looping it. At some point, you can, like, soft block your opponents out of the game, but we'll take our first match win there, and I'll run it back for match number 2. See you there. Alright, welcome back. We are here for match number 2 against an opponent with no companion, so we do not get information. Mono red seems to be on an uptick lately too, so a lot of times when I don't see a companion, I assume my opponents are playing like just mono red beats, which is about a 50-50 matchup from what I've noticed. I'm going to go Temple here and just hope to hit the 4th land for the Fabled Passage. Alright, I'm definitely keeping Pyromancer, although hopefully my opponent's not some sort of control deck. If they go like Temple of Silence here, I'm going to be like, ugh. Alright. This should be good against whatever my opponent is doing. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and just crack the Fabled Passage now so I can guarantee a 3-drop. We'll go get blue mana. Blue is just way more important than anything else. Once you have a single white mana, you're fine. I guess we have a Dream Trawler, so that's not 100% true. But here's a good example of like why we don't want to just cast our Opt even though we have a floated mana, because we want to turn 4 ideally go Pyromancer plus Opt and just immediately get the kill out of this. Okay. We got some Footlight Fiends. This feels like an Obosh deck without Obosh. I might just run Teferi out there, bounce something, and have my opponent deal with Teferi, but I do need to hit the 4th land. Bone Crusher is also good. Could go tap land, Bone Crusher right now. I do really want to hit the 4th land. I could also just play Ironcrag Pyromancer and hope my opponent doesn't have a removal spell. But I think I'm going to just hope my opponent doesn't have... Well, I'm going to hope I just naturally hit the 4th land. If not, we'll buy some time with Teferi. But if we go 4th land, we're going almost assuredly Pyromancer Opt. Shocking. Ooh, Acolyte of Flame. Alright, you know what this is? This is probably a Cavalcade of Calamity deck. Which, if we don't draw the 4th land, we are probably going to die to. But if we do, we can probably be fine here. Okay. Should have been more specific, I guess. Alright, well, we're going to have to go to Fairy, bounce, play land. Could also just play Pyromancer and block. Could also play Bone Crusher Giant, which they have to kill. That's probably best, to have something they actually have to deal with, otherwise lose creatures. Alright, go for it, opponent. They don't have any spells to flash back with Chandra here. Grim Initiate, and almost... I would bet you hard money this is a Cavalcade of Calamity deck. Alright, let's see if they want to throw away a Footlight Fiend here. They do, so I'm going to take 3-4 damage this turn. Go down to 10. Not in great shape. I thought that was going to be Embercleave. They couldn't even cast Embercleave. Alright, I might just die to like the random extra damage off these things before I can really get my strat going. Opponent just infuriated us. Oh, shock? That's not enough. I would need... I guess if I go Pyromancer, opt, find a red source, I can shock this. So let's opt Hallowed Fountain. I'm gonna bottom that. Hope to just hit a red source. No red source. Alright, I think we just pop Chandra here and try to stabilize from here. No attacks. Currently on board, if I go block one of these, block another one, take 1, 2, 3, and then 4 when this thing dies. Yep, opponent's smart to attack with everything, and then if they have like a lightning strike or anything along those lines, I'll just die. So if I block and get the Footlight Fiend on board, I'm taking 4. I could also just block one of these and take 3, but I'm going to go for getting the Footlight Fiend off the board. I guess what I can also do is block here to fairy the token and then be fairly stable. This has me not die to a lightning strike. They have an Infuriate again. They just cleave us this turn. Oh, they have Castle Embereth. I didn't even notice they had Castle Embereth. So now I'm dead. I guess that's my fault for not paying attention. Alright, we take a loss there. I feel like we were like one tap versus untap land away from just being in very good shape that game. I mean, my opponent's virtually empty-handed, so they got us. That's fine. We'll go ahead and run it back, and I will see you all in match number 3. Alright, welcome back. Match number 3, as promised, against Mr. Awesome. Wonder if there's a Mrs. Awesome. Got a good hand. We'll have to figure out what we're doing on turn 2, whether we want to get this down or just go for the tap land. Imagine we'll probably just play the Vandal. We'll see. If they go like turn 1 Fervent Champion, then... Oh no, this is going to be some dumb flash deck. These are always the most annoying decks to play against. It's a pretty good draw, though. Give them the option to counter my Fairy Vandal if they want to. This could also be like some sort of Bant deck, but every time they go turn 1 Temple and they don't have a companion, they're almost assuredly blue-green flash. So they could have Mystical Disputes, which would be annoying. I mean, I don't care if they Mystical Dispute this, but what I am going to do here is try and go ahead and get this Ironcrag Pyromancer down. That way I can play kind of the instant speed game against my opponent, their Night Pack ambushers and whatnot. They might have Spectral Sailor here. Spectral Sailor into Sea Dasher Octopus is a pretty good draw. And then all they do is protect that for the whole game. It's pretty annoying, actually. But Ironcrag Pyromancer is nice against it. Let's see if they've got the Octopus, because without the Octopus, this is fine. With the Octopus, it's a problem. Oh, they're going to deal with my Pyromancer first, maybe? Okay, so no Octopus. Here's what we're going to do. My opponent's probably going to flash something on my end step, so I'm going to go ahead and go to combat, and then when they flash whatever, I'm going to cast an Omen of the Sea, trigger this, and kill their guy. And if they don't cast anything, that's fine. I won't do anything either. The way you beat these decks is to just not play into their counter spells every single turn, because they usually have like 3 or 4 counter spells. But if they don't add to the board, that's fine. Like, let's see what they cast here. If they go like Brineborn Cutthroat, then I go Pyromancer, kill something. And that's, of course, assuming they don't have Mystical Dispute. But they might just untap. Teferi is almost always game over against these decks, too. So if we can find Teferi, if we can find Teferi and then like bait their counterspells and stick it to Teferi, it shuts off like 50% of their deck. That's not even really an exaggeration. Like, all these cards, the benefit is that they play well with counterspells, and you can just pick and choose when it's right to put things into play. Opponent's really deciding what to do here. Maybe I should have just kept Fairy Vandal back. I don't know. Alright, that's Night Pack Ambusher mana. I will not block. And I don't actually have a great answer against Night Pack Ambusher, but I think what I do here is go Omen of the Sea, because I do want to hit land drops. They're probably not going to counter this. They might, though. Honestly, might. And if they counter it, that means I'm not getting ambushed. And I'll go ahead and just shoot Spectral Sailor with the Pyromancer. Flame Sweep, probably not actually what I want, because Night Pack Ambusher is the big problem here. I'll target that. And go to combat. Attack with this thing. And I think what I'm going to do here is just cast another Pyromancer. That way, if they deal with Pyromancer, which they kind of have to, they don't get to ambush me. So just trying to force them to use a counterspell here so they can't actually play Night Pack Ambusher. If my opponent has it and they've got counterspells, they might stick the Ambusher, get value off of it, and then hope they can just deal with my stuff. But this is a fine position for me. Probably have to go land pass again. And we'll see what to do from there. Maybe I wanted Flame Sweep, actually, because I can go Flame Sweep plus Omen of the Sea on my end step to kill a Night Pack Ambusher. Alright, not the best draw here. Certainly not the worst, though. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and attack with Vandal. I'm going to cast this in combat. Looking for like an Ionize or something along those lines. And we might even be able to race a Night Pack Ambusher with Ironcrag Pyromancer. Keep a land on top for sure. So we will shoot you, 3-ball you with the Vandal, play an untapped land, and then have Chemister's Insight on their turn to shoot them again. And then hopefully just out-damage them. Alright, here comes Ambushy Boy. 100%. Yep. You got it. I am at 12. Apparently I've shocked myself a bunch. Likely going down to 8. If I can stick a Dream Trawler, that's obviously amazing, but I don't think that's going to happen. Let's see, though. Let them make the wolf. Maybe I just cast this trying to kill the wolf. I don't know. I don't know. Opponent does have 4 cards in hand. They've only used 1 counterspell. No blocks. Alright, and then on their end step, I'll go ahead and cast this and see if they want to interact with it. I'm going to face here, not going for the wolf. I guess they could have like Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower, bounce Pyromancer. Maybe, oh, I should have done this on second main, I think. That way, if they did interact, they don't get the wolf. Yeah, I guess I messed up. So they're thinking maybe bounce Pyromancer in response and not take the 3 damage. Bounce Vandal, take less damage off the Brazen Borrower. Yep. Okay. I guess you can Chemister's Insight into 2 more Chemister's Insights. Oh. Oh, we did shut off the wolf. I didn't even think about that. Because they put the trigger on the stack, but it checked on resolution whether they cast a spell or not, and they did. Interesting. So I'm going to go Pyromancer here. What I'm trying to do... Oh, I don't have enough mana to do it, though. I guess we attack here and see if they want to block with Brazen Borrower. I highly doubt they do. They're just going to flash in Brazen Borrower, right? Wow, this is awkward. We drew all of our top end. I guess they have a counter spell. Just make them counter whatever. I can't do 2 things. This is super awkward. I guess I play Pyromancer. Yeah, alright. I'll just play Pyromancer here. If they counter it, they counter it. No biggie. And then I'm going to go to end step. And if they flash in Brazen Borrower, I'll go ahead and cycle the land. And deal 3 damage to him. Could also just deal 3 damage. Now this forces them to deal with a Fairy Vandal, right? Oh, there's Teferi. Don't think it's going to stick, but our opponent does need to stop us next turn. Alright, let's see what happens. It's going to be a close game, actually. Opponent with 3 cards in hand. They're going to attack for 4, pass turn. That is written in the stars, really. And then we're going to go ahead and try and bait whatever they've got by attacking with Fairy Vandal. Yep, you got your wolf. Now they could cast something if they wanted to before I untap, because they've already gotten their wolf. And Brazen Borrower, that's actually not bad. So what we're going to do here is go to... I guess I could try and do that, but... Alright, let's go ahead and attack with Fairy Vandal. Opponent might just take it, because I would have to cast a draw spell here. Alright, what is this? 1, 2, 3... green mana? What the heck? It's not a Brazen Borrower. Oh, Shark Typhoon. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We'll let the Shark Typhoon resolve. With that cycle draw on the stack, I'm going to try to bounce the shark token, or whatever you want to call it. So trying to get them to counter a Brazen Borrower here. And hopefully they don't have 2 counter spells. Alright. I'm doing this before they draw a card off the Cyclone, obviously. Alright, opponent lets that happen. They're going to go ahead and draw from their Typhoon. And go down to 1. Alright, they have a Brazen Borrower. So do they have a 2-mana counterspell in hand? I'm not going to bank on it. So now we're going to go to Fairy and just hope this sticks. Ugh, no, don't pause. Come on, Teferi. Don't do it, opponent. Mr. Awesome. Come on. Oh, okay. They had another answer there. That's not bad. So I guess our best case scenario here is to go just minus, and I have to bounce this, otherwise they can kill us and then hope I draw an untapped land. Ugh, this did not work out well. They had 3 Brazen Borrowers this game. Alright, bounce that or I die, and then they have to attack this. Drew another Teferi, though. So they attack here. They have multiple Brazen Borrowers they can actually flash into, which is super annoying. So I guess I go Teferi first. Got a counterspell. Got to neutralize, my friend. Sinister Sabotage. And I think that's probably going to be in the nail in the coffin here. God, I had an open in there. They had to have a 2-mana interactive spell, and they did. But they've drawn plenty of land, so anything I can do? Not really, because they can flash this in an attack. Best I can do is actually just like, I guess, no, I can't even play Yorion. I can just play like Fairy Vandal and chump block something. Yeah, I think that's all I can really do. Oh, you have another castable spell? And we'll just pass here. So in comes Nightpack Ambusher. And we have to chump back Nightpack Ambusher, go down to 1, and then I don't even know what we could draw at that point. Do the thing I have to do. Plus my opponent still has 2 unknown cards in hand. They could easily just have another counter spell. So it's not like if we do draw something, we're in the clear or anything. Alright, chump block. I guess I could technically Chemister's Insight into like Bone Crusher Giant plus Shock. It's about the best I've got here. No, we got outplayed by the counters deck, unfortunately. If that Teferi had stuck, we had it, though. It was good. It was good beats from the opponent. I hate playing against these decks, but if you stick Teferi, you win. Alright, we'll go for the 1 out we have here. Let's see, if I play Dream Trawler and it resolves, that's just too much power on the opponent's board. You gotta imagine one of their other 2 cards. Okay, we'll give them the GG. Alright, we didn't quite get there. We were very close. Maybe I misplayed somewhere. Maybe going for Teferi was a bad idea. I don't know. Maybe I should have gone for Narset. But they did have a counterspell in hand. They had counterspell plus bounce, although they only had 2 mana that turn, so it had to be exactly Brazen Borrower. I guess had I gone for Narset, I could have permanently killed the 4/4, but if Teferi sticks there, we win. So I feel like going for Teferi is probably fine. But we took the loss anyway. Our opponent had the right cards. And they got us. That puts us at 1-2. So not a great record, but we'll play 1 or 2 more matches here, and I'll see you all in match number 4. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Another non-companioned opponent. We've got a Dovin's Veto that looks really awkward here, but we do have one of our best cards. This is really good against a creature deck and embarrassing against a non-creature deck. I'm going to keep it. Hopefully we're against a creature deck. Nope, we're against another stupid flashy flash deck. That's okay. We'll play it. We'll try to play at instant speed here. Same kind of deal as last time. Whatever they play on end step here, just shock it, but they didn't play anything. That's fine. Oh, this is something different entirely. Alright. Is this elementals or is it just blue-green ramp value? I have no idea. Let's go and shock. Bzz. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and play out Ironcrag Pyromancer. See what our opponent's up to. I'm expecting like Cavalier of Thorns next turn. Would be my guess. I guess 2/2 Hydroid Krasis, also fine. Granted, my hand's pretty good against 2/2 Hydroid Krasis. Well, they ramped off a Risen Reef, but they're bricking on lands now, which is good news for us. Yeah, it looks like we're just against like Simic Ramp here. So, I think we go Omen of the Sea, shoot down Krasis. Looking for white mana. Solar Blaze could be really good against like a Nissa, but I think my hand's good enough already that I don't need to worry about it. I do have a Dovin's Veto up right now as well, which is nice. And we'll just go get white mana here. And we've got kind of our thing going a little bit here. Our opponent's not quite sure what they're up to. Simic value, Simic ramp, if you will. Another Krasis, sure. Do they hit a land this time? They do. Alright, what do we have? 5th land, so that's not bad. Kind of want to make a 1/1 Shark, shoot that down, but I also have Flame Sweep, which can kill it. So I can go Flame Sweep plus Dovin's Veto. And this is even good if they play like another Risen Reef or something along those lines. So that's fine. See what happens here. Hey, look, Cavalier of Thorns. You got it. If they attack with Krasis, I'm just going to make a Shark here. Definitely Elementals. Alright. Krasis, go. Cycle. We don't get a Pyromancer trigger, unfortunately. Pow. Opt, not bad. So I could, let's see. I don't really want them putting a card back on top with Cavalier, but I could attack and then opt and just kill this. Also just Brazen Borrower, attack for 3. But I think we're probably going to play the Ironcrag Pyromancer game here. Fire Prophecy can go to bottom. Looking for lands, honestly. More lands can't be that bad. 3 damage to you. Play an untapped land and pass. They're already down 2 Krasis, which is one of the biggest cards in this matchup. Another Cavalier, sure. Yep, this thing. So biggest card we're looking out for is Finale of whatever it's called. All right, we're gonna attack with a 5/6 here. Probably just gonna bounce it. It's honestly not even that good. Go bounce. No, here's what we're gonna do. Well, I guess I'll do this first. Shoot down Leafkin Druid. Okay, did ask for lands. And we will not block. Elite Guard Mage is fine. I mean, it's just fine, though. It's not great. I mean, they're going to be attacking us for 10 next turn. I have to do something about these. Yeah, this isn't actually going that well now that I think about it. Because I'm probably not chump blocking, so I'll attack. This is where Improbable Alliance is actually great. Because it just makes a bunch of 1/1s to block these Cavaliers. Okay, we drew another Pyromancer. So I want to tap out and get this Pyromancer down. Take 10. Yeah, YOLO. Get in there. Flame Sweep, probably not going to do too much this game. Okay, Risen Reef's fine. At some point here, I'm going to have to hold up Dovin's Veto for Finale of, whatever it's called. Finale of Devastation, the green one. And what else you got here? Quasi-duplicate, right. Forgot this was a thing people used to do. Uro to the graveyard, nice. 2 Uros to the graveyard. Alright, well, we're definitely under pressure now. We don't have good ways to interact. We can not even really attack, to be honest. I feel like we're just going to take a loss here. Can go Chemister's Insight, deal 6 to you. Actually, here's what we might have to do. If I go attack, attack, and they block the 3, they go down to 11, and then I cycle this, go 3-3, and then Chemister's Insight on their turn. Hope they can't do anything about it. So, guess that's the game plan. Try to shoot them down with the Pyromancers. Opponent says GG. I wonder if that means I've got it or they've got it. Shoot you for 3, shoot you for 3. Oh, they concede. And then they see the Chemister's Insight. On their turn, I can Chemister's Insight and trigger these. That deck, again, isn't playing any interaction, but okay. The Pyromancers get it done through an army of 5/6s. I can dig it. Haven't seen that deck in a while. It's kind of refreshing to see that some of the older standard decks are still hanging around. And let's play one more and then call it quits. This will be a tiebreaker match where 2 and 2. We'll see if we can end up with a positive record with my own brew, or if my home brew is going to be the worst of the decks we played so far. So match 5 coming up. See you there. All right, welcome back. We're against this person. I am on the draw against a 0 companion deck with a hand that's pretty good if I draw a 3rd land. Solar Blaze as a 1-of has been decent. I'm assuming, I mean, I can't assume that much. We just played against like quasi-duplicate elementals, so I'm going to keep, just hope we hit the 3rd land. It's not a great hand, again, as I said, but it does have our 3 colors. We have some Omen of the Seas to search for stuff. We're on the draw, and Teferi plus Solar Blaze can help us through most situations to kind of stabilize. Elite Guard Mage, also, if this is like an aggro deck or something, Elite Guard Mage is great. Okay, this is, let's see, I assume Blue-Green Mutate or something along those lines, but, oh, Teamer? Interesting. I don't know what to expect there. Let's get Steam Vents down and pass. Didn't matter which order we played these in, but I always want to have at least blue-red on turn 2 in case I have a turn 2 Improbable Alliance. This feels like Mutate, yeah. So this deck is actually very close to the Amori deck I'm going to be playing. Granted, they don't have Amori, so they've got to have some sort of spells in their deck. I mean, this is the best start they can have, is Grazer into turn 2 Greathorn. So we're immediately under pressure. And if they have like an Aluna or something, we're under even more pressure. I guess we're going Omen of the Seas here. Not even sure what we're looking for, but Dovin's Veto is probably extremely bad against them. Solar Blaze is not particularly good against this, but it's good against Auspicious Starix, and it's good against Aluna, which are 2 of their bigger cards. And we intend to go Teferi Bounce this, which, sure, Bounce and Mutate creatures is not the best in the world. They get to replay their stuff, but at least it gets it off our back, right? Let's see if they add to the board. They do not. So I guess, yeah, Teferi Bounce is probably my best bet here. It also keeps them off of a turn 6 Mutate creature for value. So let's pop that, draw a card, and see what they end up doing on their turn. You could just cast an Auspicious Starix, in which case I'll probably just Solar Blaze. But they might go Grazer into Migratory Greathorn again. The more times you mutate, the better, because when you do play the Auspicious Greathorn, you just get more value off of it. But I haven't seen this deck in Teamer. I've only seen it as blue-green. And they go for Greathorn again, sure. And this is their turn 4. Like, they've already got, 7 lands. Next turn, they could cast an End-Raze Forerunner. Double Flame Sweep, not exactly what I wanted. What can I do here? Not very much. I don't have enough mana to go double burn spell on this thing. Solar Blaze doesn't quite do it, so I think my best bet is just to play Elite Guard Mage and try to hit a 5th land. Hope they don't have Starix, I guess. That is a 5th land, so an Auspicious Starix would be good for them, but wouldn't be unbeatable because of Solar Blaze. End-Raze Forerunner would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage, but not lethal. I could chump and keep Teferi alive here, but I think it's worth having my creature on board, especially with Yorion floating around. It's really good with the guard mages. What you got second main? Again, I'm not sure what to play around because these sorts of decks with all these mutate creatures tend to not have spells in them. And since my opponent doesn't have Amori the Collector as their companion, it means they probably do have spells in their deck. Either way, I'm interested. Could be a Fires of Invention type deck. Something along those lines. If they just kill Guard Mage, sure. I mean, if I just play Yorion next turn... Oh, Agent of Treachery? No, I didn't see that coming. They took a land. They took a land. Those jerks. Took a white land nonetheless. I did not expect Agent of Treachery. Alright, what are we doing here? Kind of want to hold up Flame Sweep and go, like, block Flame Sweep something. But also need to hit more lands now. Can't Solar Blaze even if I wanted to. Could cycle. I think I just have to pass, really. Could just have, like, another Agent of Treachery in this hand. I hate this card. I hate that you don't get your permanent back. Like, this card's obnoxious. Alright, 3 cards in hand from the opponent. We are down a mana source. They're up a mana source. What if they go End-Raze Forerunner now? Growth Spiral's fine. Yeah, this is just Teamer Ramp, actually. That's what's going on here. Please put a land into play. Please don't tell me you're on all, like, 3 spells here. They had, after a mold of 6, they did have the best possible start, from what I could tell. Wow, they're going to play another Agent of Treachery? They shocked for that. Your best, the Sea God, what? I can cycle looking for Ionize. I guess that's the best I've got. You got it. You got an 8/8 hexproof. Sure. Just getting crushed here. No big deal. And they get to steal another non-land permanent on the 3rd chapter? Is that how that works? Alright, well, we are going to go down on a negative record here for sure, but actually Solar Blaze does kill the 8/8. I'm going to take 10. Okay, I guess I have to play this tapped. They get to tap a permanent, right? Tap all non-land permanents. Oh, right, this card's insane. I can opt... So next turn, the goal was to go Solar Blaze plus Bone Crusher to kill their creatures. I can opt looking for... I don't even know what. I think I'm just going to pass. Take my 10. Tap down my Omen of the Sea. No. No. And then we have an answer here. Our opponent still has 2 cards in hand. What I really need to happen here is for them to just, like, play another Kiora Best the Sea God. That way I get extra value off my Solar Blaze. Youch. Alright, ramp decks got us pretty good. This is where playing an 80 card deck is a little bit worse for us because you don't always get to draw your Improbable Alliance, your Fairy Vandals. Granted, the Fairy Vandals wouldn't have been good, but you get the point. Go down to 5 here. And then end of turn, I'm going to cast Omen of the Sea. So this is not even close to what I thought it was. There's no Auspicious Starkses and Illunas and things of that nature. They're just playing Migratory Greathorn as a ramp creature, which did the trick. Fae of Wishes, go get a card from your sideboard. Okay. Now we got to fight through whatever this is too. Whether you just go get a counterspell here and end the game. I think if you want to be competitive in Standard, this is what you need to do, is just play the most busted cards. This, Elspeth Conquers Death. Don't try to go for, like, strategy. Just play good, busted cards. That's how you win Standard games these days. They got Grafdigger's Cage. Okay. I'm not sure what deck they think I am. Gain control of target permanent an opponent controls. Untap it. So I might as well just crack my Omen, actually, to make sure they don't have a permanent to steal with this on their next turn. I guess. I don't know. And unfortunately, my Solar Blaze plus Flame Sweep combo. Oh, I don't do that. I'm going Solar Blaze plus Bone Crusher Giant here. What's up with the Grafdigger's Cage, though? I will keep Fabled Passage. Okay, they didn't cast Fae of Wishes either. Need to go get a blue source here, I think. And pretty straightforward. We have to go Solar Blaze plus Bone Crusher Giant. I'm not expecting a counterspell from them, but is what it is if they have it. They must be thinking I'm some other sort of deck. Not sure what they think I am. Target permanent. I thought I literally just read non-land permanent, and it untaps it. What? What? All right. Well, opponent has stolen 2 of our lands now. Oh, they're just gonna have an Uro on board too. Okay. All right. We'll give them the GG. It's just way too much value. I guess Grafdigger's Cage stops Uro from coming into play. So maybe that was premature, but okay, sure. We lost. We lost. There, you happy? My brew deck didn't beat Agent of Treacheries, okay? Here, I'll open a pack for you as a consolation prize. Oh, it's a Guilds of Ravnica pack. All right, well, if you want to play Yorion, we didn't cast Yorion a single time. It's kind of sad. If you want to play Yorion, play the Bant deck because it's busted. Play Elspeth Conquers Death. Play more Into the Battlefield triggers. If you want to play fun stuff, this is cool, but you're not going to frequently beat the all-in best cards in Standard decks, which is what I feel like I just played against. Also, they got super lucky. Just saying. Just complaining. They got lucky to mold a 6, have Grazer, Migratory Greathorn, and then draw nothing but gas for the rest of the game. But I wonder what the Grafdigger's Cage was all about. Maybe they were scared of me having Uro or something. I don't know. But that seems fine by me. We went 2 and 3. We didn't really get to do too much of the deck, but we did get to show like the Iron Crag Pyromancer part of it, which is kind of nice. That's kind of the original idea of the deck. But as far as a Yorion deck goes, we didn't ever cast Yorion. You really only cast Yorion in games where you're either super desperate or really far ahead anyway. Kind of the same with all the companions. But that's going to go ahead and do it for the Yorion shtick here. Sorry we didn't have the best companion deck to go with there, but it's fair enough. We got to lose some every now and then. But thanks for watching. As always, my name is Timothy with Mana Rocks. We're going to play 5 more companion decks to round this video series out. Stay tuned for those. Subscribe below if you want to see those. Find us on Twitter, MTG_ManaRocks. And that's going to go ahead and do it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.